The invasion started with those snappy British sports cars, followed by Germany's Beetle. Then the Japanese landed. Now, the Koreans are coming. The lowest priced imported cars yet. Will they have an impact on Detroit? Ben Marshall and special correspondent Marianne Mascary uncover plans for Korea's car invasion. An Action News close-up, starting Monday night at 6 on 7.
Breakfast with Ron Duguay of the Red Wings, Monday, 9 a.m. live.
Today, the Professional Bowlers Tour stops near St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is the home of the National Bowling Hall of Fame and Museum, dedicated just last June. It is also the home of many great Hall of Famers. And today, the Professional Bowlers Tour stops at the home of one of St. Louis's greatest champions, the Dick Weber Lanes. And ladies and gentlemen, what a great treat is in store for you today, because Dick Weber is in the finals. ABC Sports presents live for the 24th season, the Professional Bowlers Tour, and what excitement lies ahead. In 5th place, making his second championship round appearance this year, George Pappas. From Charlotte, North Carolina, George has 10 PBA titles. He'll face Pete McCordick of Houston, Texas, who's looking for his first PBA title. The number 3 spot belongs to the incredible Hall of Famer Dick Weber. The hometown crowd will be behind Dick, making his first championship round appearance since 1981. The number 2 bowler is another St. Louisan, Steve Gilgum, making his first championship round appearance ever. And the tournament leader is David Ozio. And like McCordick and Gilgum, he has his sights set on his first PBA title. A lot on the line today on the Professional Bowlers Tour. And on Wednesday, 128 professionals started right here. The $150,000 AMF Angle Open in Florissant, Missouri. Now we're down to the 5 best of this championship. Hello again, I'm Chris Schenkel. What fun it's going to be today, because what a field. We have 3 non-winners. We have 2 former presidents of the Professional Bowlers Association, who between them have won 37 titles. A little bit more about that later. Speaking of later, Wide World of Sports follows the Professional Bowlers Tour. It's a 3-part show today. It leads off with the magical Harlem Globetrotters, the World Nordic Skiing Championships from Seefeld, Austria, and an interview with Doug Flutie, who last night made his professional football debut. Well, Nelson Burton Jr. is with 2 fellow St. Louisans. That's right, 2 generations of bowlers. One of them is the man I call the Arnold Palmer of bowling. Let's go to my colleague Nelson Burton Jr. right now. Bo?
Thank you, Chris. With me is a man who is recognized as probably the greatest bowler of all time. He doesn't have many peers. He's in his own hometown. He's in his own bowling center and his own favorite pair of lanes, and at the remarkable age of 55 is trying to win his 28th national title. And that man is Dick Weber Sr. Dick, how do you feel today?
Well, Bo, I feel real great, and I just hope I can match your record of last year.
I snuck a title in at home last year. Well, about a month ago, Pete Weber and Dick Weber were standing next to me, and Pete was bowling for the title at the Showboat. Dick gave him some advice, so I brought Pete in. And Pete, can you give your daddy some advice?
Well, he bowled better than me this week. All I can say is just keep them first 2 steps slow, because it keeps your timing good, lets your follow-through go a little easier, and just win.
Good advice from the man who's a leading bowling winner on the Professional Bowlers Tour. Dick, good luck today. Chris, we're ready for some action.
That's right, and easy for those kids to tell the veterans how to do it. And speaking of veterans, George Pappas on the left is 37 years old. He has won 10 titles. Dick Weber, the other 27, as I indicated at the beginning. There were a total of 37 between those 2. Pete McCormick looking for his first. And the 13-year member, I should say, of the Professional Bowlers Association has hit that pocket in the left lane with a strike. Now we get a good look at Pappas. 5'9", 135 pounds. Gets a lot out of that body on the 16-pound ball. And he has faced that before, the great champion that he is. But, Bo, what a way to begin the 4-7-10 on a replay.
The outside line, Pappas on the right-hand lane, lane 22 in this 32-lane establishment, cuts right through the heart, the 4-7-10. The thing we should watch for today, Chris, among the 5 players is who's playing the right line to the pocket. In my opinion, I think the winning line is the track area between the second, third arrows. Pappas has opted for the outside line.
Right. Obviously trying to convert that split, but he left the 10 pin, so it's an open frame and immediately drops off. He's trailing by 11, but he'll rebound.
The reason I say between the second and third arrows for a strike trajectory is that this bowling center is a lacquer bowling center, a finish that doesn't hook very much as compared to the urethanes we see around the country today. And the lacquer track, or track area, seems to dominate the characteristic of a lane. Pappas is trying to go against the grain of the lane. Let's see how he does.
Everyone in the house thought he had a strike, leaving the 10 pin. In other words, Bo, the conditions this year are different than when you broke the record last year.
Well, the condition is a little bit different. I think the lanes are playing where you can play the outside line. Last year, when I shot that big score in the championship round, we were confined to the inside line between the second and third arrows. The lane is what we call opened up. There are more shots to the pocket. When you have that many undefined shots to the pocket, the lanes become just a pinch tougher to get big strings of strikes.
Nice spare by George Pappas. And when Bo said a big score, how does 1060 sound to you? Wow, that's a big winner's share today, too. 27, 14 for runner-up, 85, 7, and 6. In other words, the loser of this first match will get $6,000. Now McCordick. Strike up, second frame. Crossing over, leaving the 6-10 on the right lane.
Once again, he's playing the track or area of worn area between the second and third arrows. The characteristic or the lay of the boards makes lane 22 hook a little more than lane 22. It will every day of the week. So it's up to McCordick to figure that out and play the track area. A little more room on the right lane, a little straighter towards the pocket on the left.
Here's a very fine bowler. Finished second 6 times. Imagine that. Second 6 times. You'd think he'd be frustrated by now after 13 years of trying for his first title. No way. Not this fan of the Astros and Oilers in Houston.
The arm swing of Pete McCordick is outlined by the action line tracer. You see his position from the top of the swing and the full follow-through. A great shot. 4 McCordicks, 1 result.
Pin on the left lane. This is our first match, if you just joined us, from the Dick Weber lanes in Florissant, Missouri, suburb of historic city of St. Louis.
High hit for McCordick, leaving the 4 pin. If he converts here, he'll lead by 10 pins. And McCordick's been in our championship round before. As we opened the season, the 1985 season, he was in that tie match, 191 with Guppy Troop, and he lost a roll-off 37-39. So he's no stranger this year.
And he keeps marking. That's been the key here throughout the week when the 128 pros started. And here is Pappas. Look at that, 16, 10 titles. Former president of the organization. Came up high, 3-6-10.
George Pappas, 10 PBA titles you alluded to, Chris. 10 titles is very important for a player because as you see Pappas's ball breaking high, leaving the 3-6-10 spare to convert, a difficult spare. 10 titles is important because all that you have to do is bowl 50% of the tournaments each year to maintain eligibility to the Firestone. If you have less than 10 titles, you have to bowl full-time as a pro. Not many players have won those 10. George has accomplished that feat.
And marks with a spare, and in the field of 5, the only one eligible for this year's Firestone tournament, George winning it in 1979. It's always been close in that big event at the end of our traveling season, Bo.
Pappas is good in all conditions, Chris. He's the 4th all-time money winner on the professional tour, only behind the great Earl Anthony, Marshall Holman, and Mark Roth.
Oh, yes. George finally gets that elusive strike coming in the 4th frame. He only trails by 13 in a very close first match. The winner to meet Dick Weber. We'll be back.
you're looking for the best in life, you know you've got it right here.
There's still a place where the grain is rich, the water's pure, beer is beer, and the brand is Miller.
Miller's made the American way, born and brewed in the USA, just as proud as the people who are drinking it today.
Miller beer, purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
The more things cost, the better they are. That's not always true. Consider Barbasol. Barbasol has as thick and rich a lather as any other leading foam, so it gives you a smooth, close shave. But Barbasol can cost half as much as the higher-priced foams. Maybe that's why Barbasol is America's fastest-growing foam. Saving as much as $1 on shave cream may not mean much to some people, but getting a great shave for as little as half the price obviously means something to most people.
Wherever you go in America, there's one source of starting power the weather's found tough to beat, the Sears Die-Hard. From the original Die-Hard battery to the newest, most powerful Die-Hard ever made for your car, in Credicell, Die-Hard is still the replacement battery more Americans have confidence in than any other. Think of it as a recommendation from a few million of your neighbors.
There's more for your life at Sears. The Harlem Globetrotters do it as they bring their special blend of magic and mayhem to New Orleans. Plus, the World Nordic Skiing Championships on ABC's Wide World of Sports next.
We call him Mr. Everything in bowling, Dick Weber. He will meet the winner of this match, the 55-year-old champion. What a thrill to see him back on the telecast live and a chance to win his 28th title. But he will either have to meet Pete McCordick or George Pappas. McCordick leading by 13 pins is in fourth frame. Again, a 4-pin. He had a 4 on the left lane. Now he tries the right side of this championship pair.
McCordick cuts through on the right-hand lane, leaves the 4-pin. He's been high on this lane twice, and the right-hand lane hooks more just by the green of the wood. That pine wood from the arrows to the pins are all pine, and when you get some soft boards in there, the ball has a tendency to hook a little more. The adjustment for McCordick is to move a couple of boards left on the approach. Here's an easy spare.
Susie McCordick. Houston coming in to cheer him on, and the tension is really showing on her face, Nelson. It's a tough spot for the wives to be in there. It's a helpless feeling for them.
Very true. You really can't help your husband, plus he may be bowling against one of your best friends for a living, and it's sometimes a tough situation. Pete McCordick is a new father. Pete and Patty, Susie just had their new child, Patrick, who is being babysat back in the audience.
All right. 31-year-old who was born in San Antonio, now lives in Houston, Pete McCordick. Close match is George Pappas, who had the honor of being a proprietor for the 1984 Angle Touring Players Championship in Charlotte, North Carolina. Notice the twitches, getting that shoulder set. Almost a stop action follow-through on George Pappas.
Classic style, George Pappas, 5-step delivery. Look at the intent eyes fixed on the target, that left arm and left shoulder balancing the right side. Just ideal. Good knee bend. Now watch the good, high, relaxed follow-through with very little elbow bend. You just can't bowl any better than that. Ideal shot. He needs a strike here to take the lead.
First game. And you can count on it. If he starts a little wobbly, he will fight back. Watch his reaction.
Very calculated shot there. He takes the lead, puts the pressure on McCordick. 6th frame.
Man that runs bowling camps for youngsters. Pappas, now McCordick. Pete lets it be known that he is still in the house and still very much in the hunt. The 2-pin lead because he has a double working now as he gets ready to shoot in the 7th frame.
Both experienced players, both great match game players. Pete McCordick, without a victory, is not eligible to the Firestone Tournament Champions. He has to win sooner or later. He's just too much talent, too disciplined, practices more than 50 games a week besides his regular 42 games in the tournament. Here to take a 12-pin lead.
And what happens? A 6, 7, 10.
At the top of the backswing, Chris, he just had that arm swing bounce out a little bit. The ball cuts right through the middle, the 1, 2, 3 pins, leaving the 6, 7, and 10. He must go for it in this situation.
Pinfall you hear over our telecast, that's Dick Weber warming up. He will meet the winner. So, devastating open frame coming in the 7th. McCordick trailing Pappas by 13. Finals of this first match following this.
You've a very important date, and you're really looking great, Ben.
That tangle, a cold sore is coming on.
Your resume is fine, but the interview's on the line, 'cause
I feel a cold sore coming on. Quick, use Campho-Phenique Gel. Helps stop cold sores from stopping you. Clear Campho-Phenique Gel acts on developing cold sores and fever blisters to instantly stop pain.
when you have to be your best, but that tingle just won't rest.
Campho-Phenique Gel helps stop cold sores from stopping you.
Bill Evans can't breathe.
My nose is so stuffed, air can't get through.
Prove it. Would you try Dristan long-lasting nasal spray?
I'll try anything.
It can give you relief in seconds that lasts all day. Can you breathe now?
I think so.
Prove it. Still breathing freely?
Yeah.
Prove it. Prove it to yourself. Dristan long-lasting goes to work in seconds, lasts all day. Or try Dristan regular.
Yes, here in Florissant, Missouri, and every Saturday we have another friend. Wide World of Sports, our companion. Harlem Globetrotters in New Orleans, World Nordic Skiing Championships from the picture postcard village of Seefeld, Austria, plus highlights and an interview as Doug Flutie last night made his professional debut. A longtime professional on the Professional Bowlers Tour is this man, George Pappas, 10 championships, including the Firestone Tournament of Champions. He really moves that shoulder and right arm around to get comfortable. And he won't start until he is.
13-pin lead can extend to 23 with another strike.
George Pappas stringing them, acknowledging very loud applause. Standing room only crowd here at the Dick Weber Lanes.
Pappas can really put McCordick on the ropes with a 5th strike here. He would take a 33-pin lead with just 3 frames remaining. Pappas using a plastic ball, a polyurethane ball, polyester ball. McCordick using the more popular today polyurethane bowling ball. 8th frame.
Looking for 5 in a row. No 7.
You heard him yell, hurry, and that means to let that ball hook a little bit more. He sent it wide, and those 3-pound, 6-ounce pins did not react just the way he wanted them to. Watch the ball. Enters the 1-3. Watch the action of the 5-pin. There, he hits the 5-pin. Normally, that 5-pin would drive over to the 4-7 area, take out the 7-pin for a strike. No such luck for Pappas on that shot.
There were no 300 games here in the Angle Open Championship. Pappas's high was 268. McCordick's was 278.
McCordick going at a 193 pace, has a possible 223. Pappas going at a 215 pace. McCordick's got to get some strikes right here. Real nice shot there.
Powerful fellow, and his wife Susie watching along with you. 5'11", 175 pounds. Her husband. And is he ever a Houston Astro and Houston Oilers fan? Always consider that you're a fan, Bo, when you buy tickets to go see him play, and he does.
critical shot for McCordick. He trails by 22. If he doesn't strike on this ball, it'll be very difficult to win. If he strikes, he's right in the match.
Remember, McCordick looking for his very first professional win.
He just won't roll 2 frames better than Pete McCordick just did in the 8th and 9th. He set it up where he has a chance to win. Right now, Pappas still leads by 12, 9th frame.
Answering right back in the 9th, and you see McCordick looking up at the overhead score sheet.
He is bowling very well, but he's bowling against a lane technician right now, a very disciplined George Pappas. This shot here is the pivotal shot in the match. If Pappas strikes in 9 spares, he'll shut out McCordick. If Pappas does not strike on this ball, McCordick can win with 2 strikes in the 10th.
He was holding his head at the line. He knew it was going to be high, but pressing over. He'll take it.
George looks a bit disgusted. He got a great break to put himself in the driver's seat in this match, but he is really empathizing with McCordick because George, being the pro he is, would hate to lose a match if somebody else did that to him. But it's not over yet. Pappas needs 9 spare to win the match. If he gets 8 in a spare, we could have a possible tie.
As he has so often done, coming through with a crucial shot. George Pappas of Charlotte, North Carolina.
He's the winner, Chris.
Yep.
He just got a great break, and he jumped right on it. He'll be in the 230s. The best McCordick can shoot is 223. It's going to be 2 great veterans. 10-time champion George Pappas going against the grandfather of bowling, the great Dick Weber.
So it's a big 235. 8 strikes, and he will meet Dick Weber after this.
The Professional Bowlers Tour. This ABC Sports exclusive is being sponsored by AMF's Angle Ball. The angle strikes again. By Barbasol Shaving Cream, a great shave at a great price. And by Miller Beer. Purity you can see, quality you can taste. Miller, made the American way since 1855.
Come on, America. Drive over to Firestone, America's leading tire and service retailer.
America's driving to Firestone.
Drive over to Firestone for MasterCare car service. Right now, buy 1 selected MasterCare service and get another absolutely free.
Keep you moving on the go now. Driving force is Firestone.
And introducing Supreme, our best total performance radio. Now buy 3, get 1 free.
Firestone.
Okay. Well, what does everybody want?
Chicken. Uh-huh.
Chicken? Here?
When you want chicken, why go to a place that doesn't specialize in chicken?
You've got a right to chicken done right.
At Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do one thing. Chicken with a secret blend of herbs and spices.
You've got a right to chicken done right.
Now this is the place for chicken.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Sunday, there's no place to hide, nowhere to turn. It's an all-new life's most embarrassing moment.
There are 2 ways to open an individual retirement account. The hard way, waiting until tax time, finding enough money in the best rate, or the easy way, with an Easy IRA from Michigan National. We'll automatically deposit money into an Easy IRA from your checking or savings account all year long. So when tax time rolls around, your tax break is all set up. We'll even pay you an extra 0.25%. Come to Michigan National and open an Easy IRA. We give you more money for your money.
Michigan, the day just doesn't start until the free press arrives.
Hill Street's Belker reports for duty Monday at 4.
We're at the 7th stop of the Professional Bowlers Tour. That's right, at Dick Weber Lanes in Florissant, Missouri. And would you believe that the man himself, Mr. Weber, is in the next match? Here he is, 55 years old. He goes against Pappas, who won 235 over McCordick's 200. This is George Pappas of Charlotte, North Carolina. We asked him earlier how he feels about going against the incredible Dick Weber.
Well, you know, Dick is one of the greatest bowlers that ever lived, and it's a challenge and it's an honor to bowl against Dick. I bowled against him one time in Kansas City, and he beat me, so I've got a score to settle with him, and I'm going to give it all I got.
There's the handshake. And, Bo, I heard one word in that answer, honor, to bowl against Dick Weber. How true?
That is Dick Weber, one of the greatest, but by no means is George any schlock. Dick is the 5th all-time money winner on the Professional Bowlers Tour. George is 4th, so Dick's trying to catch George.
And George says, welcome to your lanes, Dick Weber. Dick has never made the finals here in his own house, but he's made the finals all over the world, including a bowling match in a jet airplane. That's right. He bowled on a lane in a jet airplane. Oh, wow. Many a good tune has been played on an old violin, and Bo just loves that every time I use it. Someday you'll reach that point, Bo, you young fellow.
I'll tell you, just the nostalgia of watching this match and being a privilege to watch it myself. I have enjoyed and idolized Dick Weber all my life, Chris. I think he's one of the finest gentlemen. I know he's one of the finest gentlemen that ever stepped on a bowling lanes, let alone one of the greatest talents that ever lived. And he's going against a great player in his own right, George Pappas. This is a classic matchup.
That's why I call him the Arnold Palmer of bowling, because he has all the ingredients, the right stuff, Mr. Palmer. Oh, yeah. Off to a double. He's already delighted the hometown fans here, this 55-year-old. Now, remember, Pappas opened with a strike. He's shooting in the 2nd frame.
Weber put some early pressure on Pappas. Let's see how George reacts. Just the way players have reacted for 4 decades against Dick Weber. Dick Weber, a front runner, likes to get out very quickly. He started with a quick, solid double. George Pappas, who was nice and relaxed in that 1st frame, felt that pressure in the 2nd frame. Remember, this is match play. The psychology of match play is so important among between veterans like this.
Now cross lane, 610. Pretty big loft out on the lane, just got him. Pappas, who won the 1st match over Pete McCordick of Houston, 235 to 200, in the process, marked with 8 strikes. Now, the winner of this match, looking down the road, Steve Gilgum of Crestwood, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis, will meet the winner. And then our tournament leader is David Ozio of Vidor, Texas. And again, up high, leaving the 4.
There's a big difference between just bowling along, as Pappas goes high on the left lane, between just bowling along and practicing against somebody or being in league and then teeing it up on national television against Dick Weber. The result is can be seen in George Pappas's last 2 shots. He's been a little high, a little extra pressure. Look at that confident look of one of the all-time greats. He has an 11-pin lead.
All right. Pappas now has marked with his 2nd spare in 3 frames, opening with a strike. And here's the man that had his double-up, shooting in the 3rd.
Big shot to get out in front. Weber likes to front run. He could take a 21-pin lead with another strike.
Let's watch the reaction
Here's the profile of a man that's been seen on every magazine cover. There it is, the exact profile with the top of his backswing. Look at that follow through to the right. A little extra lift. See you later. All 10 pins in the pit. He has a 21-pin lead and a turkey working. Fourth frame.
It's almost like opening a time capsule, and the 55-year-old is perfect through 4. Don't go away.
Ollie, if you don't hurry, I'll miss my play.
Well, I'm doing the best I can in this terrible rain.
Would a new set of Anco wiper blades help?
Certainly. Put them on.
Change to Anco. They clean better than any other blade. Test prove it.
There, now I can see an airplane. Airplane! Oh!
Don't worry, Ollie. It wasn't mine. That's mine.
Anco, the best blades you can buy. Test prove it.
Hey, they forgot the label.
No, that's a special tube of Aquafresh.
I can see it's triple protection formula.
Only Aquafresh has it. Fights cavities with all the fluoride of the leading paste. Freshens breath with all the freshener of the leading gel. Cleans stained film with gentle, effective cleaners. Concentrated in one complete toothpaste. And tests prove millions of mothers prefer Aquafresh. Triple protection Aquafresh. A complete toothpaste.
The Harlem Globetrotters do it as they bring their special blend of magic and mayhem to New Orleans. Plus, the World Nordic Skiing Championships on ABC's Wide World of Sports next.
Yes, behind most successful men, a great family. Juanita, and that, look at that face. Ah. And on her right and on the left of the screen, Pete Weber, the leading money winner on the tour this year. The white sweater, John, then there's lovely Paula, and then there's Rich Jr. in the leather jacket. What a family.
Beautiful people. Here's a great competitor. Don't forget about him. He's trailing by 31 pins. Maybe everybody's throwing a towel in on George Pappas, but he'll come back. You watch.
But Carol, his wife, and Chad are watching in Charlotte. Ooh, wonderful break.
Pappas right through the nose, smashes the 1, 2, 3 all at once with the ball. Gets a good break as the 3-pin goes into the channel, knocks out the 6 and the 10. An easy spare for George. If he converts here, he'll trail by 32 pins through 4 frames.
In other words, one of these two professionals, this is our second match, has to win 3 games in order to win the Angle Open Championship and $27,000. It's a tough road, Bo. A year ago when you set the record, you had to win 4.
Well, this is a good pair of lanes to get going on, Chris. If you can play that track or inside line that McCordick was playing, I think that the drawback to Pappas's line as he changes the tape in his ball, his thumb must be swelling up a little bit under the pressure. As you see the fingertip grip of George Pappas, index finger spread wide for control and balance. Chris, that outside line is hard to maintain for 4 games. And the reason being, he cuts right through the heart like that. Weber playing the more conventional down and in shot. Pappas has some trouble with the ball breaking a little too much.
Disgusted with himself.
Amy, you're feeding through, honey.
This is George Pappas. 10 titles, including the Firestone. He'll keep calm.
Okay, here's Weber, leading by 34.
5th frame, Bo. 4 in a row. It's been a great year for them. Pete in the suit and tie, leading money winner, 2 championships this year, and now old Dad is in the finals. And his home lanes, local hero. Talk about pressure on somebody, Bo.
He's got it all going, but one of the greatest players of all time. That great arm swing and that great natural ability. That's just a gift from God to bowl like that. It's been embellished through a lot of practice, but he was born with this ability.
Well, string ending at 5, but what a way to start. And Bo, hits the time when you'd like to punt, lateral the ball, or do something.
Weber cuts right through the heart on his one errant shot and leaves a 5-pin split. He'll just go for the 3 pins in the right-hand corner. Save the pin count. Remember, he has a 5-bagger working. He has a commanding lead. He doesn't want to give away too many pins.
Okay. So some of the pressure with the string of 5 might be lifted. This is an open frame, 141 through the 6th. Now, with a spare up, George Pappas, who won the first game, is shooting in the 6th. Watch him. Give just a little crack in the door, Nelson, and this guy is tough.
Agreed, Chris. George Pappas sitting back there just waiting for Weber to make a mistake. The 6th frame was his opportunity, and he's jumped on it so far. If he can make a double here in the 7th, he'll cut Weber's commanding lead at one time was over 40 pins down to just 15 pins with 3 frames remaining.
This is the second game. First match, Pappas 8 strikes, 235. Pete McCormick's 200. Goes out, leaving the 7 on the left lane.
Disconsolate look on George Pappas' face as he cuts through the heart on the left-hand lane and leaves just the 7 pin, but he really needed that hit. He'll make the spare, and he'll trail Dick Weber by 25 pins with 3 frames to go. It's not over yet.
We're in the suburb of Florissant, Missouri, suburb of a city of champions, St. Louis. Historic it is. More of this second match, but first this.
Denerex versus Selsun Blue.
This side here, I've got a tingling sensation on my scalp. Feels good. On this side, there's not much any sensation. It's just kind of there.
Look what you used.
Denerex. Feels good. This is the side that was tingling.
Each shampoo has one medicine for dandruff. Only Denerex adds extra anti-itch medicine many dermatologists recommend.
The tingling felt like, hey, it's happening now. Selsun Blue's lost a customer. I'm a Denerex man.
Denerex shampoo or shampoo and conditioner fights dandruff and its itch.
Celebrate the savings during Sears Washington's Birthday 2-day sale. Save 40 to 50% on these Craftsman power tools. Choose from this 1-horsepower router, only $39.99. Or this 7 1/4-inch circular saw, only $44.99. Stock up on Sears 10W40 motor oil, half price at only 59 cents a quart. And save $7 on Sears Easy Living satin flat paint, now just $9.99. So hurry to Sears.
There's more for your life
During the 2-day sale.
at Sears.
Howard Cosell, candid and controversial, bringing you the only regularly scheduled network television program devoted entirely to sports journalism. Get the inside story on ABC Sports Beat tomorrow.
Think of this bowling fact. Dick Weber is the only bowler to win at least one PBA Tour event in 4 decades, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And here he is at 55 years of age trying to win his 28th title. All-Star champion, PBA, ABC Hall of Fame.
Won 10 of the first 23 tournaments ever held by the PBA.
And we're in our 24th year of telecast, Bo, and you don't think he didn't have a lot to do with the early days of this series? Well, you'd have to think again. He and Don Carter and some of the other greats, many of whom came right out of St. Louis, and one of them is here, another Hall of Famer, Ray Bluth, today. And I'll bet Nelson Burton Sr. here in St. Louis is watching today.
Well, thanks for the plug, Chris. 8th frame, Weber leading by 25. Strike up can extend to 35.
Well, 2 of 3 looked like that one frame, as the family enjoys it, lifted a little of the pressure. And he's just winging it now, that instinct bowler that he is. Look at him. Oh, he's having fun.
Chris, you said he opened that crack in the door, but he didn't leave it open very long. He slammed it shut. Pappas in real trouble. Must strike on every ball.
.39, right lane.
The psychology of match play. They're not bowling just for score out there. They're bowling to see who wins this match. Pappas right in the nose leaves the very difficult 3-9 double wood spare. The best Pappas can do this game is 213 if he converts his spare and strikes out. Weber going at a 231 pace.
All right. One way to get the 3-9. And Dick, yeah, he needs those glasses. He's looking at an overhead score sheet. We've, both of us had a lot of fun with that man over the years, haven't we?
He's a great man, and he's in the driver's seat right now, but this is just one of 3 matches. Remember,
right.
He's got to go against another St. Louisan, Steve Gilgim, if he passes George Pappas.
And a hungry Steve Gilgim.
Pappas must strike on this ball. He's still in it.
There you are. Looking down the road at Steve Gilgim, waiting in the wings, and David Ozio, the tournament leader. Both warming up off to the right. You can hear the pin fall. They know they're going to have to meet one of 2 great champions. Weber with the double up. No.
Almost took another peek in that door, Chris. That was the shutout shot. He could have shut Pappas out with a strike.
Look at Pete on the left, his son, who's won 2 tournaments this year. Silent rooting.
Weber throws the ball a little bit too hard and leaves the 1-2-4 and just avoids a washout. Needs to convert this spare to maintain his 35-pin lead.
And there is a tough one. Another open frame. And John can't believe it in the white sweater.
Weber, a little sloppy on his spare shooting, has struck in 7 of the 9 frames, but is open in the other 2 frames. And what this missed spare in the 9th frame does is forces him to cover 18 pins in a 10th. He needs a strike in 8 pins or a spare in 8 pins to shut out Pappas. If he would happen to open or get less than 18 in a 10th, Pappas could still win the match.
He gets them all, even though he came up at the line. Wowee! That's a powerful bowling ball.
I'll tell you, Pappas will never hear the end of that one. Pappas got that same lucky break against McCordick right through the nose to defeat McCordick, and here Dick Weber throws one right in the nose and pushes them all down with a nosedive to beat George Pappas. So it's going to be Weber and Steve Gilgim in the semifinal match.
Well, he's got to get those out of his system, he's saying to himself.
Just needs 1 pin. He needs to stay behind the foul line or hit 1 pin. And dimes to donuts, he'll get 1 pin. All he has to do is just throw the ball anywhere in this zone, Chris. Hit any one of these 3 pins, and he is the winner. That's it.
From out of a recent past comes Dick Weber to win his first match against George Pappas. Gilgim and Weber next.
My daughter calls it the Blue Bomber. My wife thinks I ought to get rid of it. And when it needed a new muffler, well, I was afraid she might be right. Listen, I don't want to spend too much on this car. Midas had a muffler that was perfect for my budget. Now the old Blue Bomber sounds almost as good as new. And heck, she doesn't look that bad.
Trust a Midas touch.
Listen to these stuffy noses.
Afrin does it have it.
Dristan doesn't have it.
Only Sinex has it. Ooh. That quick feeling of relief from instantly penetrating Vicks vapors, plus a powerful decongestant that opens nasal passages and allows you to breathe freely.
Ah, complete relief.
For hours and hours, Sinex gives you both instant relief
Ooh.
and complete relief. Sinex in regular and extra strength.
From Vicks, of course.
I'm 32 years old, and I love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Brave adults are coming forward to challenge the notion that Frosted Flakes is just a kid's cereal.
I know there's a tiger in the box. I like the taste, okay?
Because you love them as a kid doesn't mean you can't love them as an adult.
One day, our neighbor saw the package on the table.
And we don't even have children.
With that extra crunch in milk, that frosting just right, that taste is great as ever.
Well, they've always been my favorite. So dig in. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
Yes, we are live at the Dick Weber Lanes in Florissant, Missouri. And himself, Dick Weber, finished third in the field of 5 finalists. In his first match, a little shaky at the end, but with 8 strikes, defeats George Pappas 216 to 191 after Pappas beat McCordick 235 to 200. This is Professional Bowlers Tour, always followed by a great series. The Wide World of Sports, the Harlem Globetrotters in New Orleans, the World Nordic Skiing Championships, including action on the 70-meter ski jumping hill, plus action highlights from last night and an interview with the professional debut of Doug Flutie. And then tomorrow, oh, Bo, this is your sport.
They eat and almost...
And then here on these lanes, our championship pair, a 31-year-old non-winner from a suburb of St. Louis, Steve Gilgum, will go against 27-time winner Dick Weber. But first, our Nelson Burton Jr. Tip of the Week.
Today, Nelson Burton Jr. proves that bowling is for all ages and all sizes on the Professional Bowler's Tip of the Week. Today's tip is being sponsored by Old Spice, Aftershave and Cologne. Splash on the peeling, splash on the Old Spice.
Bowling is truly a sport for all ages, all sex, no matter what size you are, and even for the handicapped. Today I have a young little girl with me named Gindy. She's been bowling 1 year, and we have a tip for her also. She has her own little ramp here to bowl with. Now, wait a second, Gindy, we got to throw it yet. We're going to show you her how to make it more effective shot. On a bowling ball where the 3 holes are, usually the finger side of a bowling ball, if cut in half, weighs more than the thumb side. Now, if Gindy, you want to throw a hook to the left, keep the finger holes on the left. Now, if you want the ball to go to the right, if you leave a few 10 pins, move the ball over here so the finger holes are on the right. Now, come on, honey. Now, throw us a strike here for us and show us how to get it. Now, there you go. There's a pretty good shot. Not too bad. She's improving with age, and as soon as she learns how to control that ball better, she'll even be a better bowler. Remember, bowling is a sport for a lifetime for everyone.
All you gotta do is smell the morning splash on Old Spice. Now you're moving, isn't it nice? Up and at 'em, don't think twice. Pour out a handful, splash on some spice.
Nobody sends more guys out there alive and awake than unmistakably masculine Old Spice.
Now you're moving, don't think twice. Splash on the feeling, splash on some spice.
Hundreds have jammed into the Dick Weber Lanes in Florissant, Missouri, to watch 5 finalists go for the Angle Open Championship. Dick Weber, who finished third, has just eliminated George Pappas by a score of 216 to 191. And now, first time ever on our Professional Bowlers Tour telecast, Steve Gilgum qualifying second in this event. That's a loosening upper after practicing off to the right. Good job by Steve in the very first frame. Now Weber, who had 8 strikes with 5 in a row to open, shoots on the right lane.
Dick with 15 consecutive 200 games in the 42-game format this week, the most of any of the other players, is in the semifinal match going for title number 28.
Remember now, he and Juanita, mother and father of those 4 children, Dick, 55 years of age. That's really something out here bowling with the young guys. He is bowled in senior competition, of course.
Talented Dick Weber, just a living legend in the game. His last victory was a 1983 Seniors Classic. Remember, he likes to get out to a very quick front-running start. He can do that with a double here in the second frame.
Left the 9-pin. You know, Bo, while you were setting the record and winning this event last year, Dick was up here doing the commentary. And we have a RF or wireless microphone on him. Usually talkative, but perhaps with the fact the mic's on, he won't say much.
Got a bad break there, hit, which was an apparent good pocket hit, and he just drove the pin straight back, leaving a solid 9-pin. Very unusual.
He put more concern into that shot than some of the earlier ones. A lone 9-pin.
The true value, the second tournament in the Light Beer Slam in Cleveland. Then we go on to the second Jewel PBA Triple Crown in Imperial Lanes in Toledo. Then on to the King Louis Open, a tournament that George Pappas won a few years back.
Oh, he did that so beautifully and so effortlessly. And Bo, I know he has attributed much of his success to the fact that you put him on a weight training program.
Well, he took up weightlifting a couple of years ago with me, and I'll tell you a cute story, Chris. He came out on a tour, and Palmer Fahlgren, a good friend of mine, says, "Steve, what have you been doing?" Steve says, "I took up bodybuilding," and Palmer took a look at him. He says, "Steve, you better call it weightlifting just for a few more years." But he has improved his strength. He went from 140 up to 155 pounds and has really improved his bowling through this weight training.
And he now leads his boyhood idol, Dick Weber, by 30 pins. This 31-year-old non-winner, looking for his first buck earned on the tour this year, has a 3-bagger. Weber opened with a strike marked with a spare. Better not let him get away.
See how Weber reacts to the early pressure by Steve Gilcham.
Oh, 10-pin.
Bad
heard him say,
break. Chris, he had a solid 9 in the second frame. Here's an apparent good hit. He hits the 1-3, saws out that 5. He tomahawks that 6, but look at that 10-pin will not move. The man that I say is the greatest spare shooter of all time, shooting the 10-pin, just counted in the bag right now.
Can't believe it. There comes a time when even the greatest blow one. He can't believe it. You heard him say it. I can't either. I know you can't.
Chris, they don't listen to me up here, do they? I have never seen Dick Weber give an opponent an opening like this. I'll tell you the truth, I've never seen him miss a 10-pin in all the years I've watched him bowl. Here in a critical situation, he slides by the 10. He's dug himself a hole early in the match.
He's on the left lane, taking that time to set. Imagine that. You know, when you're 25 and you blow one, you probably come back with a strike. It's maybe quite easy, but you're 55 and do it, that's something else again. Don't go away.
The power to hook. The power to hit. The AMF Angle, with the power of its unique urethane formula. Winter Pro Tour's #1 winner 3 years in a row. And now there are 3 angles. Black for average lanes. Gray for dry lanes. Gold to win on oily lanes. And for winning looks, Angle shirts, shoes, and bags. Hooking power. Hitting power. The Angle strikes again.
I have taken on many fighters and tried many beers. One beer isn't a class by itself. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great, and it's less filling. It weighs in at a third less calories than the regular beer. Yes, I discovered your greatest beer, but I never met your greatest fighter. Hey, who is this Billy Martin anyway?
Billy Martin. He's warm, he's gentle, good looking, too.
I got to meet this guy.
Lake beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Next week, the Professional Bowlers Tour travels to Peoria, Illinois for the $150,000 True Value Open. The top prize is $27,000. And at this stop, a perfect game is worth $200,000. So join us next Saturday at 3 Eastern Time for live coverage of the Professional Bowlers Tour.
Second time in a row in a must situation, Dick Weber has left a 10-pin, and he's talking to the ball right now. The reason it was such a must, because in the 4th and 5th frames, his opponent, Steve Gilgem, marked with strikes.
Weber was trailing by 52 pins going into that frame. He had a strike working, and as you alluded to, Chris, he left his second consecutive 10-pin on the right-hand lane. He missed this last time. He's got it this time.
Okay. Gilgem's 2 strikes coming while we were away. It was necessary to bowl through because of our allotted time schedule. We were running a little bit late. A lot of spare shooting today, and that takes a little longer than a lot of strikes by both players in a match.
Weber, who's been on a strike spree for a number of weeks, he just told me he came back from London, Ontario, where he bowled an exhibition match and averaged 267 2 weeks ago, so he knows how to string them together.
Looked awfully high, didn't it? But nevertheless, they're all down.
Here's the man who came out on a tour. He bowled with me a lot, Chris. He works for my brother, Neil Burton, in his bowling supply business here in St. Louis, and is just a tribute really to the young St. Louis Lions, the tough Midwestern regional program of the Pro Tour.
And this man is halfway. Halfway to what? $100,000 from True Value should he bowl 6 more.
Steve Gilgem has this crowd in shock, Chris. They don't even know how to react. He's always been pretty well known around St. Louis. He's the top average bowler in the very tough Masters Traveling League. He's the top player in the PBA Midwestern Regional Tournament. That's the satellite tour for pros. We have 7 regions around the country. And yet he has never had any chance to win a major title. Here he is in the driver's seat against one of the greatest of all times. He's there.
And now he needs 5. First time ever on national television, a non-winner who has 7 in a row.
Well, that was the put-away of Dick Weber. It's just a matter of, can Gilgem shoot 300? Gilgem worked at a possible 300. Weber, if he strikes out, would have 238. He needs a strike.
Dick Weber doubling. Striking the 6th and 7th, but still 62 pins. And when you go against perfection, look at him up there. A lot of kisses.
Good way to put it. Weber's going to the whip, just like a great racehorse. It's no time to lay back. He must strike on every ball. He's just going to cut it loose. Watch the follow-through. Watch as he accelerates through the ball. He's taking a little more chance, but he can't afford to have any taps. He's maximizing his power. There's that fan shot.
No, he left the 610 on the left lane. A wry smile on his face.
And that was the danger of having all the strikes. The best Weber can bowl is 216. Gilgem going at a 250-plus pace. The story right now is, can Steve Gilgem become the first man in over 11 years to roll a perfect game? He has 7 in a row. $100,000 awaits the first player to do it, awarded by True Value.
And Dick Weber was this man's boyhood idol. Inspired today, no doubt. So were these men that came up. Jim Stefanich on national television. This was the last man. Look at that. Emotion? You bet.
There's number 8.
4 to go. Perhaps I'd better spell his last name for you. Giljum. Steve Gilgem, wonderful 31-year-old professional.
Ironic you say spell it, Chris. The Globe Democrat and the Post-Dispatch, the two local papers, cover bowling very well. And the last time Steve was up there, they misspelled his name, and I've always kidded him about it. They spelled it Gilkum. I'll bet you they don't miss it again. Has 8 in a row.
Well, everyone proud. Steve Gilkum, including his parents. Things well in hand.
A pretty accurate shot, but he just didn't get the lift he needed. Slides by, leaves a double-8, double wood 2-8. He's got the match in hand, though. A possible 278 with a spare and 2 more strikes. Even though he slid by, Chris, he still has the match won.
All right. That was his reaction when he missed that strike to keep his string going. And Weber, meanwhile, had a strike in the foundation 9th frame, and he can smile now. It's been a great event for him in his home lanes, finishing 3rd in this field of 128. And he will do that very same thing today, 3rd. But giving the fans something to cheer about. Dick Weber, and there is the boyhood idol, Steve Gilkum, who has won the match. We will have the final score after this.
Wake up to a new day with the morning sun. Get the spirit of adventure a man should have on.
Stetson cologne, Stetson fits.
Comfortable and daring for the rugged soul. Masculine and sharing, confident and bold.
Stetson cologne, Stetson fits.
'Cause there's a little bit of Stetson in every man.
Vladimir! Where is Comrade Petrenko?
What is commotion?
This beer Petrenko buys for embassy.
Meisterbrow, expensive capitalist beer.
Yet, our operatives tell me is not expensive. Only tastes expensive.
Then what he's doing with money he says he spends on beer?
I want to buy big American automobile with tail fins.
Meisterbrow, it only tastes expensive.
The Harlem Globetrotters do it as they bring their special blend of magic and mayhem to New Orleans.
Spilled a cup of coffee, ruined a sweater, bosses scream and send this letter, call Emery, and it's as good as there. Emery's on the case, so you don't have to worry. We go any place and get it to you in a hurry. From the biggest to the smallest, it's as good as there, just call us.
Hi, Emery.
It's as good as there.
So, Gilkum will be in the 250s to Weber's 216. We'll be back after this.
Everything you see here is on sale now at Sears Electronics Showplace, including this TV. It's cable compatible with remote control and just $379.99. This VCR with 14-day 4-program memory is at its lowest price ever, $369.99. If you've been waiting for the right prices on home electronics, this is one sale you won't want to miss.
There's more for your life at Sears.
Say goodbye to America's favorite can of motor oil. That Quaker State quality America has trusted for over 70 years now comes exclusively in this unique, easy-to-pour plastic bottle.
So long, Spouts. See you, dirty hands.
Goodbye, oily rags.
No more leaky cans.
Get Quaker State's pen-grade protection and no mess, easy to open, pour, and reseal. Today, you need an oil this good in a package this good.
The death penalty and why many states have returned to it. Monday on ABC's World News Tonight.
And here's the grand prize in the price check game. Name this beautiful car at 6817 in 3 guesses, and the car is yours.
It's a...
I know it's a Mazda 626.
1,600 too much.
I got it. It's a Honda Accord.
2,000 too much.
They are similar, but for that price, it can only be a Chevy Cavalier.
That's right. At 6817, it can only be a Chevy Cavalier.
Don't you make a costly mistake. See Dick Morris, Kozak, or Marty Feldman Chevrolet.
Korea's Car Invasion, Monday at 6 on 7.
WXYZ-TV, Channel 7, Detroit.
Back live at the Dick Weber lanes. Our semifinal match has ended. Weber losing it to Steve Gilgem by a score of 255 to 216. Ironically, both had 8 strikes. Here's Nelson with Dick Weber.
Thank you, Chris. You said he lost it. I think Weber just kind of got beat. Dick, you had a great day. I'm sure you're happy with your performance.
Well, I certainly am, Bo. I'm extremely happy with my performance. But, you know, a fellow like Steve Gilgem, he bowled so good, and I wanted to see him get that 300 game for the $100,000 from True Value. But I hope he gets it this game, and, of course, I wish David Ozio good luck, too.
The thoughts and comportment of a great champion, Dick Weber. Chris, he had a great day.
He certainly did. And here are 2 non-winners. A big moment for both of them. If they win, more than the $27,000 first prize for one of them is the fact that they will be eligible for the Firestone Tournament of Champions. A big 255 against his hero, Dick Weber. Weber's 216. He had 8 in a row. So he started out perfect again. Steve Gilgem of Crestwood, Missouri. Now, David Ozio of Vidor, Texas, not far from Beaumont, 60 miles east of Houston, right near that Louisiana border. 7th year, a PBA member, and as we indicated, has yet to win his first championship round appearance of the year, 2nd of his 7-year career.
David Ozio's wife, and David Ozio had a tragic situation, Chris. Lisa Ozio is David's second wife. His first wife passed away in 1981 during childbirth. It was just great to see him come back from such a tragedy. He was down for a couple years. So Lisa's changed it around for him, and I think his bowling has fallen right in line with it. He finished 6th last week. He has a chance to win a trip to the Firestone Tournament of Champions.
Oh, there is a double. The man that finished second to our statistician, Mike Durbin, in the 82 Tucson Open.
Steve Gilgem from Crestwood, Missouri. That's on the south side of town. Florissant on the north side of town. Steve also has a chance to get in the Firestone this year. The man who is going to get knocked out today is Steve Fair, F-E-H-R. He will be knocked out of the Firestone, and one of these men will be making the trip.
Well, what a final match, at least the beginning here. Each with 2 strikes in as many frames.
Steve Gilgem, just as nice a guy as you'd ever want to meet. He has just a beautiful demeanor on and off the lanes. A bachelor, 31 years old. Super guy, Chris, and just is accounting himself so well in his first test under fire.
Attended the University of Missouri at St. Louis, majoring in business. He'll take it. Next, following Professional Bowlers Tour, the magical Harlem Globetrotters in New Orleans, World Nordic Skiing Championship, Seefeld, Austria, and an interview and action footage from Doug Flutie's pro debut last night. Wide World, next.
And don't forget Sunday's Wide World with the Race Across America. Lon Haldeman won it 2 years in a row, and they're trying to stop him. Only 2 players go to the starting line. 9-day, non-stop bicycle action. Here's Ozio to tie up the match.
And he does. 3 frames for each, 3 stripes for each. You're looking at David Ozio, 30-year-old from Vidor, Texas.
Here's the arm swing and the body movements of David Ozio. Ideal position, that left hand out, balancing as his right hand comes and right arm comes through. Look at that left arm back, full extension, follow through. Chris, both men are perfect. Both men are shooting for more than the 27,000 first. A free ride to the Firestone, all out at stake. It's been a long time since we had action like this where both players are striking.
Vidor, Texas's professional David Ozio is pumped up and perfect. So is Gilgem. We'll be back.
New business. Chair recognizes Brother Lampard.
Yeah, I got a question about this beer that Brother Hollowell's been buying for the lodge.
This expensive brew, Meister Brow?
According to the guys down to the plant, it's not expensive. Just tastes expensive.
Oh?
So what's Hallowell doing with all the money he claims to spend on beer?
Well, let's just ask him. Hallowell? Hey, where's Hallowell? Hallowell.
Hi, Hallowell.
Meister Brow, it only tastes expensive.
Get the most out of your hard-earned dollars by saving on the quality products you'll find in the Dollar Dazzler Circular from True Value Hardware stores. For just $3, you can get this Master Electrician automatic closet light or a Taylor indoor thermometer with humidity gauge. This Acro Welcome doormat is made of durable rubber, and a Rubbermaid Space Maker shelf is also just $3 in the Dollar Dazzler Circular from participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Next Sunday, the USFL is back. 84 Heisman winner Doug Flutie, flanked by supercharged Herschel Walker, lead the Generals into battle against rushing champ Joe Cribbs and the Stallions. The USFL season premiere action begins live at 2:30 Eastern next Sunday on ABC Sports.
Sort of a premiere for both professionals today. They both will win more money than they've ever won at a single shot. 27 to one of the two. The runner-up will get 14. By far the most. Neither have won a PBA championship. And here's the man, Steve Gilgem, that shot a .255 with 8 strikes. His parents watched him defeat his boyhood idol, Dick Weber, who shot a .216. We're now in the championship match of the AMF Angle Open, Bo.
Gilgem, 3 in a row, needs to match Ozio's 4 in a row.
High hit leaving the 3-6 on the right lane. Long been bowling capital, St. Louis.
Gilgem goes right into the nose, leaves the 3-6 spare. And Chris, he hasn't shot too many spares. The first match, he got almost all strikes there. Started with 8 in a row, then missed the 2-8 spare in the 9th frame. This is Gilgem's first attempt at a right-hand spare. He needs to make this. Ozio is red hot.
Okay.
Boy, he's bowling disciplined, Chris.
Isn't he, though? And it's such a smooth release. It's just great to see him get low at the line the way he does. And if you just joined us, he had 8 in a row going against Dick Weber. Still shot a .255.
Ozio just contemplating his own game, kind of eyeing Gilgem out of his left eye there. But there's a man on a mission right there. And here's a man who's changed his game around, put 15 pounds on his body through weightlifting, and it's improved his bowling tremendously. He has a shot to win.
Leaving a 10 pin.
The man from South St. Louis hits right in the nose. And watch the action over in the 6-10 zone on the right-hand part of your screen. You see the 6-pin staying. Now watch a pin come flying around. It hits the ball, bounces back into play. Now a pin can stay into play if it bounces into the machinery. The machinery cannot change the pin action. Then it would have to be reset. An easy spare for Gilgem, the 10 pin.
All right. Next up, David Ozio from Vidor, Texas. You know, when we first started our astronaut program, Bo, 7 of the first 9 astronauts had been Boy Scouts. David Ozio, former Boy Scout, and It's a good time to wish the Boy Scouts of America a happy 75th birthday.
Chris, I had the pleasure of being a Cub Scout and even made it to a first-class Boy Scout. I don't know if they're giving away medals pretty easy, but it's a great organization.
And they have a bowling program to go with it. And Lisa, mother of Heather, enjoyed watching Dad come through with that 5th strike in a row.
Plays that outside line, and that is the one you gamble with. But watch the pin action. If you can keep it in the pocket, the sharp break, the 5 goes over, the 4, 7 are all tumbled by the head pin. Ozio is perfect through 5 frames. They call him the Wizard. Obviously, after the Wizard of Oz, OZ, the Wizard has 5 in a row and a 23-pin lead.
Construction worker when he's at home. But if he keeps doing that, there's no way in 1 week he can make as much on a construction gang as he will here at Dick Weber's Lanes.
You're right, Chris. He does construction work to stay sharp when he's off. He loves to be around that job, and he is red hot now. But don't count Steve Gilgem out. It's a long way to go.
Right back in that pocket with that powerful bowling ball, and I like his style.
Big shot for Gilgem. He must stay close to Ozio, keep some pressure on Ozio. Ozio has 3-fold pressure. He's never won before. He hasn't won this match, naturally. He's got that perfect game going. Plus, he's never closed the door, Chris. What can happen if Gilgem can put a little pressure on him? That would be 3 ways that Ozio can mess up.
7th frame. Against somebody that's perfect through 6 frames, that double is oh so important. But back up now, 170-pounder, 30 years old, David Ozio. He'll be shooting on the right lane. He has 6 in a row, shooting in the 7th frame. Re-rack on the right lane.
Ozio finished 6th last week. As you said, he's a construction worker, works as a welder when he's on the off season just to keep up his strength and maybe supplement his pocketbook a little bit. But if he can run this game out, Chris, $100,000, he can lay down his torch.
The Showboat Invitational, he was 13th, so his form has been present for a few weeks now. Oh, a high hit. 4, 6, 7. Pressure off Lisa. And off David. String ends.
Wonderly quickly on the approach. He's going for the 4-7. Here he goes. Right now for the 4-7. He's not wasting any time.
Remember, this is a championship match at Florissant, Missouri. The man that enjoys golf, loves all outdoor sports.
And what a difference an open frame can make. He had a commanding lead of 23 pins, has now dropped to 8. And Gilgem can actually take the lead with another strike. 3 frames left. 2 players have never been this far in any match game or any tournament.
All right, there he is back after the Open. Didn't bother him. He just came through with another strike. The 8th frame with the double up now. St. Louis's own Steve Gilgem.
Taking his time, patting the ball with some rosin, wipes it off carefully, can take the lead for the first time if he can strike here in the 8th frame.
.610 on the right lane.
The worst shot that Gilgem has thrown all day in a position where he could take the lead. He just pulls it inside of his target. It crosses over to the 1-2 zone. He avoids the split, but it leaves himself a difficult 6-10 spare. If he converts this, he'll trail by 10 pins with just 2 frames remaining, but it's a must spare.
His opponent looks away. Cross lane now. Just marks. That was in the 8th frame for Gilgem. 10 pins separating these 2 non-winners as they're going for the title. and a slot in the Firestone Tournament of Champions.
Such an important shot, the 9th frame, the foundation frame. Gilgem would still trail by 10, but have an opportunity to win the tournament with strikes in the 10th and 11th frame if Ozio doesn't do the same.
Parents seem calm, cool, and relaxed, don't they? So does their son.
See how Ozio reacts. He has the chance to shut out Steve Gilgem. Remember, he opened in the 7th frame after 6 consecutive strikes on this right-hand lead. If he strikes here, he'll lead by 20. Father of 1 new child, and his wife's expecting another child, I'm sure is determined to throw a strike here.
Oh. 10 went out. Heart stopped a moment, leaving only the 7-pin.
Lisa doesn't know what to make of it, neither does Steve. Here's an apparent good shot by David Ozio, and he gets a bad break where he should have struck, and then he gets a good break, knocking out the 10-pin, avoiding the 7-10 split, which would have put him behind in the match. If he converts here, he'll lead by 10 going into the last frame. He's got it.
Carefully now, looking at the score sheet, and that's so important.
David Ozio cannot hardly have a tie in this match, Chris. A strike here would force Gilgem to get 2 strikes in the 10th. It's up to the man who can perform in the 10th frame. Neither player has been this far before.
All right.
No matter what David Ozio does, he cannot shut out Gilgem. Gilgem will have an opportunity to win the match.
Shot out. Watch it again. This reaction.
What an important shot there. That does set up the possibility, Chris, of a tie. If players both do the identical thing from here on in, they will have a tie match and initiate a 9th and 10th frame sudden death roll-off for the title. The pins have not come down. The machine did not register the strike, and now the mechanics are always on hand in the rear of the bowling center are setting up all 10 pins. We have a malfunction here. They have to try to set the pins up by hand, Chris.
Does that give him a chance to relax a little more or add to the tension?
I think it's a matter of how he takes it. His wife, Lisa, looks on. If he looks back and says, wow, that delay cost me the title, or it gave me time to collect my thoughts, it'll all be what happens after this shot, how he reacts to that delay.
I hope when you're in St. Louis, you'll visit the National Bowling Hall of Fame and Museum, because there they have 8 lanes, 4 in recreation of the old-time lanes, and 4 modern, state-of-the-art. Jerry Baltz and Bruce Pluckon here representing the museum. And, of course, the epic expedition started right here, Bo. Lewis and Clark, thank heavens, opened up the West.
This is the most important spare of his career right now.
Right now.
If he makes this spare, he'll force Steve Gilgem to throw 2 more strikes. Ozio sends the ball wide. He trusted the ball. That's the place to be if you don't want to go high and get an open. A conversion here will force. Look out.
All right. Now Steve Gilgem, who had 8 strikes in his victory over Dick Weber, shooting at 255. Gilgem today has 6 strikes. But as Bo told you, he needs 2 strikes to win. Those are 2 tough strikes.
Must strike on the last 2 balls to defeat David Ozio. If any time he doesn't strike, Ozio's the winner.
intestinal fortitude with that shot. Wow.
What just a tremendous shot. Look at that follow through. He reached for the sky. Look at those eyes. It's solid in the pocket. That's one down. He needs one more strike. What a story, Chris. A part-time player on the tour for years has dropped off, taken a full-time job, satisfied with his job as a non-touring player, enjoys the business world. Right now, he could rock the bowling world and take a trip to the Firestone with one more strike.
And what a performance by David Ozio, part-timer.
It's all over. Ozio is the winner, Chris.
David Ozio, the man who came back from devastating heartbreak at the loss of his first wife in childbirth. And there's the shot.
Sent Ozio into the Firestone and took Gilgim out. The washout is just secondary. It matter how many pins he knocks down here. The best he can finish is 230, 229 finish.
So it's a 235 to 229 one-game victory for the tournament leader, David Ozio. The AMF Angle Open champion is a man from Vidor, Texas. Yes.
The Professional Bowlers Tour. This ABC Sports exclusive has been sponsored by Sears, where you'll find great values, great service, and a great selection. You'll find the things that make life worthwhile, because there's more for your life at Sears. By True Value Hardware Stores. The more you've got to do, the more you need True Value Hardware Stores. They've got what it takes. And by Quaker State Motor Oil. Now an easy-to-pour and easy-to-reseal plastic bottle.
You go bumper to bumper at 200 miles an hour on a hot track from morning till night. You'll find out just how strong your deodorant is. I'm Cale Yarborough. I drive race cars. This is my deodorant, Old Spice Stick. Hey, Old Spice isn't just strong, it's 24 hours strong. Old Spice Stick is the only leading deodorant that says it right on the label. You want a deodorant that lasts longer than you do, this is the one.
Now Old Spice Stick also comes in a new fresh scent.
The Angle Ball, the big winner on last winter's Pro TV Tour. More wins than any other ball. Inspires Angle winning wear for your winning lifestyle. Angle shirts, winners wear them everywhere. Angle bowling shoes, fast lock. Angle bags that travel the world. For your winning lifestyle, Angle winning wear at pro shops only.
Come on, America. Drive over to the new Firestone Supreme Steel Belted Radio.
America's driving to Firestone.
Supreme, our best total performance radio, meets or exceeds Detroit carmaker standards in 14 performance areas. Backed by our best total protection plan, free lifetime tire rotation, wheel rebalancing, and our 1-year free replacement limited warranty. Now, buy 3, get 1 Supreme free. The new Firestone Supreme.
Firestone.
The Harlem Globetrotters do it as they bring their special blend of magic and mayhem to New Orleans. Plus, the World Nordic Skiing Championships on ABC's Wide World of Sports next.
Those are misty blue eyes of the winner of the AMF Angle Open, David Ozio of Vidor, Texas. Their daughter, Heather, Mom, Lisa, and what things must be going through that first-time winner. David Ozio, Ron Wood, who is Vice President, AMF Bowling Products Sales, presenting the trophy. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies to Hong Kong from more top business centers with 3-class Royal Pacific service. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, 235 to 229.
This is ABC.